Alright, and now's the fun part. We get to take a look at the accessories that come with this guy, and pretty standard for a Bandai Tamashii type figure. We have a couple of extra faces here. He's sporting the smirk one. Let's go ahead and zoom into that. So you can see the one on his face. Bit of a smirk there, kind of a grimace, but I think it's more of a smile. He comes with a hand here that's actually attached to his trademark duffel bag that he carries over his arm and, puts down before his rounds. Alright, so a couple of the other faces here. Alright, as one's oddly turned sideways on the ground. I don't even remember that falling down. But you also have a yelling face and his default more stoic look as well. We have an extra ponytail here, as well as a variety of hands. We've got some open hands, a couple of standard fists. We have one that's more of a grabbing type. The neatest ones to me are going to be these two right here. There's a slight space in between the thumb and the pointer finger, and that's so that he can actually tip his hat, which is really cool in my opinion. Alright, and outside of that, we have some projectiles of his from the game. Well, this one's not really a projectile, it's more of a shield type. He punches down at the ground. This one is one that he shoots, but comes from towards his feet. And this right here, it comes in two parts. One actually goes over his forearm, while the other goes onto his fist for a rush punch. It's really nice. And another move of his from the video game. I do enjoy that they added some of those. Now, while you're doing some of these more advanced poses, they also included this piece right here. This actually pegs into the back of his jeans so that you can use a Tamashii stand to help balance him. So that's pretty cool that they threw it in. So let's take a look at some of these accessories and put them together real quick. Alright, so we'll start off by removing this hand. Alright. And you separate the fist from the cuff at the end of the glove. Alright. So let's go ahead and put in his normal right fist. And we just peg them both back in. Okay. Alright. So, we'll also go ahead and put his other fist in there. Alright, sorry to reach across here. Okay. Oops. Getting a little bit mixed up. Alright. Alright, now we need a more appropriate face. And of course I'll go with the yelling face. Alright, now to disassemble the head, not too bad. The head pops off at the ball joint. The cap comes off at the top. Just reassemble as such. Hardest part is getting the head back onto the ball joint. Choose which ponytail you want, because he does come with two. The ponytail's a little bit hard for me to peg all the way in here, but once you get it in, it's stable. Alright, so now we've got more of a raging type face, but I also want to add the fist here. Okay. And while we're at it, I'm actually going to use a razor blade here and get that piece to add to the articulation of them in there. So that just fits in. Oops. 1 second there. It's hard for me to remember which side's up and which side's down, but once you get it, you're golden. Okay. Alright, so we've got him about ready. And let's get him into a more running pose. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and get my Tamashii Act 5 stand here to help balance the guy. Okay. And it is a bit hard to get this one posed up. I don't know why it is, but it is. See, and everything just falls apart here. The Tamashii stands are so stiff sometimes that it's actually a detriment. But what I want to do is move some of this stuff out of the way here so we can actually concentrate on what we're doing. This just does not want to help me. Alright? Actually tip his head some towards that way. Now I want to add the effect part, if I can actually get him. Alright, so to add the effect part, get his fist more that way. So this part just clips over his forearm, like so. And then there's another part here that just goes over the fist. Alright, get this arm a bit more back. And of course, trying to be a little bit fancy, just pops his head off. And I'll go into it a little bit more over the figure overview, but so far this just has not been the most fun figure to pose. Not gonna lie. But there you have it. Just an example of how his effect pieces work. He does come with some really neat and game accurate accessories, so it's nice to be able to utilize them and have the option of putting them in some of his more, I don't know, famous poses, doing some of his more known special moves and things like that. So the accessories he comes with, they aren't many, but they work. I just wish they were able to be implemented a little bit better. But alright, next we'll go into the figure overview. Alright, so taking an actual look at Terry Bogard here, he's accurate, but at the same time he's not. Zooming into the face here, one thing I do wish is that it would have been a bit more game accurate. It's a very nice face that they gave him, but it's also very cartoony. This fits more in line with Bandai Tamashi's style of Dragon Ball Z or Mega Man figures rather than Fatal Fury. It almost makes me wish this figure would have been done by a Play Arts Kai or something like that to give him that more realistic look that the Fatal Fury animated characters and even in-game models are known for having. But it's still a nice variant of him, but at the same time it's a variant rather than being more show accurate. So looking at him, go ahead and tilt the camera back down here. Clothing wise, he's very straightforward, simple. They definitely did do him accurate with the vest, the tattered shoulders throughout, and I do love that the tattered sleeves here move. Alright, so checking out this from all angles. Tilt them forward some. And once I get into the posability factor, definitely have a little bit of venting to do there. But star on the back as well. And I do like that they added the ball joint on the ponytail. Very cool. Very cool. So, alright. Getting into his posability here. Head to toe. Alright, the neck. Ball joint right here at the collarbone. Alright. You've really got to jam that ponytail in. That's very frustrating. But, double jointed. One here at the collarbone and another one where it meets the chin of the character. So definitely some good neck articulation and things like that. And see, just moving it around through the ponytail off. So I'm just going to leave it off for the rest of this review. Okay. Looking around, there's definitely swivel both at the waist here. And he does have things like ab crunch and whatnot. Not a ton, but he has it. Okay, now the shoulders, definitely on ball joints. Good movement there. Well, not necessarily the most disappointing part, but pretty damn close, is the lack of bicep swivel. One thing I am used to from their fig arts and their D-arts line, even with the Mega Man figures and whatnot, is having some bicep swivel here beneath the, right below the shoulder into the bicep. And this does not have them. So, when it comes to certain poses, like being able to put his fist completely forward, he has a problem doing that. And it feels like you're actually going to break the ball joint in the shoulder trying to force it over, where a little bit more elbow swivel or bicep swivel in the first place would have taken care of that. Now, there's also no swivel at the elbow joint, just a straightforward in and out motion. Alright, the shoulders are articulated, wrist moves up and down, side to side, full articulation at the wrist. No need for finger articulation because he does come with a variety of hands. We went over the waist. Alright, thighs are on ball joints, but the way that they're ball jointed does not leave room for very good thigh swivel at all. So he might as well have none. Good bend at the knees here. Alright. And the feet, these are the most disappointing part, definitely. For whatever reason, the way that they are molded into the pants, they're up in there, and they do move up and down, but the jeans actually block them from moving very far up. A lot of the times, making the feet want to angle forward, and then not making him able to stand up straight. It makes him want to fall backwards, like so. And that's like literally as straight as I can get the feet without breaking the plastic. They could have made the pants a little bit higher to fix that. I don't know, but that should have been one of those things that was definitely looked at, because you basically have to pose them very far forward to, make them stand up straight. When I actually pose them straight up, that was after just bending the HE double hockey sticks out of those pants. He wants to stand up a bit thin, but when you've got things like the backpack on the belt back, which does, well, it's not heavy in a literal sense, but for him, it is a bit more heavy. It makes him want to fall back immediately. So I wish they would have planned a little bit better in terms of the feet. I like that it does have the pivoting toes here, but at the same time, they're not really needed. So when you can't really pose them that well in the first place. So overall, it's definitely a nice variant in terms of aesthetics, but as a toy, I just don't find it very poseable at all. Alright, so next we'll get into my final thoughts of the toy. Alright, so some final thoughts on this guy. Honestly, he's a decent effort from Bandai and their D-Arts line. I'm glad that Fatal Fury is starting to get some love in some more high-end collectible type toys. But at the same time, things like lack of bicep swivel, the feet issue, leading to a little bit of, well, a lot of bit of balance issue, really just doesn't make him a very fun toy. One of the nice things about collecting characters from fighting games, especially with accessories as good as the ones that came with him, are being able to put him into those poses where, you know, he's holding his bag, he's shooting his fireballs, he's doing the ground punch and bringing up the flames. You know, you want to be comfortable posing them in those iconic poses without having to worry about them falling backwards as soon as you let the figure go. You know, that kind of stuff. So he's nice looking, but I wish that he would have been one, more accurate to the actual, you know, in character or in game or even the anime character model. And also the posability could have been a hell of a lot better. It's just not there. And at import prices, for me, you know, this being a, what, I believe it was like, I don't know, $60, $70 or something like that. It could have been towards 80 shipped, which is standard for these Tamashii type figures. He just isn't up to snuff with the Figuarts that I've collected, with the even Mega Man D-Arts figures, which are from the same line of toys as him. He's a D-Art as well. And he just doesn't match up. In terms of aesthetic and stuff like that, he's a definite fit. But at the same time, toy-wise, posability-wise, he's just not there. So he's nice, and if you're a Fatal Fury fan, buy him for the novelty, but he's not going to be something that I recommend to somebody who's more of a toy collector and is expecting that same standard that they've seen from other Bandai Tamashii releases. So thank you guys for watching. Always disappointing to have to not give the figure an A+ or a definite recommend and things like that. But I want to be honest with you guys as consumers as well, because these things aren't cheap. But anyways, this has been another Kuma Style review. This is TJ Duncan, and I'll see you next time.